the worst f***ing thing I've ever tasted.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I think I'm gonna puke.
We're going to have to edit this out.
We're gonna cut this all out. Cut this all out.
Can you cut this out?
We don't want to show that label, right?
God. Yeah, Bill, can you cut this out? We'll move the wine glasses, but can you cut all this out? Rescind the contract. Tell Francis we're out. Tell him we're out. We don't need his $50.
Hello and welcome to another review. Today we're talking about the 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Stokers.
Oh, everyone always says strokers. But we're talking about this movie, oddly enough, it was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment idea because some 10-year-old YouTube video just got recently sucked up into the algorithm, and it was supposedly Francis Ford Coppola and Gary Oldman arguing on the set of Dracula.
If you could give me a position, as it were.
Your entrance position is where you come right in, where you were coming in. You come in right.
Where it's just at the top of the stairs.
You're as equally below him as you were above him.
I'm waiting for Keanu. What I'm doing is waiting for Keanu because I can stop.
What are you waiting for Keanu for? Keanu never does anything. You just walk right out of the thing.
I may have watched the video where Tom Cruise screams at everybody about coronavirus, and maybe that algorithm triggered it.
Oh, he's going to be screaming again soon here. I can't wait for that audio to leak.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think watching that video may have triggered it, and then I watched it, and then I think you saw it. I sent it to you. I said, look, Jay, Gary Oldman kind of got mad and walked away.
There's never disagreements on movie sets, so that's just a scandalous piece of video.
It's like, Gary, you got to come in and you got to stop at the top of the stairs and look around. And then Gary Oldman's like, why don't I walk down the stairs? You got to stop at the top of the stairs, Gary. And he's like, whatever. And he walked all the way. He was just heading to the craft service table or something. And then that was like a shocking argument.
I guess.
Yeah, but hey, we all know about clickbait.
That's true.
That's the title.
But that's the funny thing is it's like a 10-year-old video that just recently, for whatever reason, got sucked up into YouTube's mysterious algorithm. And we watched it and we said, hey, Dracula.
Love it. Dead and loving it. I love it.
Let's not talk about Dracula Dead and loving it. This movie kind of inspired, there was a revival in the 90s of, after this came out, then there was the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, trying to do these classy, big budget kind of reimaginings of these old horror properties.
The Anne Rice novels.
Yeah, that was then the rise of, what was that movie? The Interview with the Vampire?
Subsequent sequels. There's so many things I love about this movie. And there's a couple things I don't. But
this is a filmmaker's movie.
Yes.
If you're into the art of filmmaking and especially practical effects, in-camera trickery, this movie's all about that.
Right. And from what I understand, Francis Ford Coppola made this because American Zoetrope, his film company, was going into bankruptcy. The
last few movies he had done were kind of duds. They did not do very well, and his company was not in good shape. And so these were done for commercial reasons. He needed to make some money. So he made Godfather 3 in 1990, and then followed it up immediately with this as an attempt to kind of bring some life back to his company and bring in some money for a change.
Yes, I read that effort was successful despite being not a critical box office smash hit.
Yeah, I don't really know what the reception to this movie was. I didn't really pay attention to it at the time. Everyone, of course, makes fun of Godfather 3, which I've still never seen. But I think it's one of those movies that now people are like, yeah, in comparison to the first two, it's not very good. But as its own thing, it's not the worst. But there is a connection in that the most famous aspect of Godfather 3 is that his daughter, Sofia Coppola, gives one of the worst performances of all time. But that part was originally supposed to be played by Winona Ryder, who had to drop out, but they kept in touch, and she gave Francis Ford Coppola the script to Dracula. And was like, hey, how about this? So that was the 1-2 punch, Godfather 3 and this. And then Francis Ford Coppola, I guess he just said, fuck it, I'm gonna make weird shit now. I kind of because he comes from that sort of the new film school group of him and Brian De Palma and George Lucas, of course. And I kind of in his older years, Francis Ford Coppola is actually doing what George Lucas has always said he's going to do, which is make these weird little personal movies where he's not concerned about box office or the commercial appeal of it.
As exemplified in Twixt. One of the worst things I've ever seen.
I've never seen Twixt.
But hey, you know, let him do his thing.
He's earned it.
And I will never blame George Lucas for not fulfilling his promise of making personal films because, shit, if I was 78 years old and had $100 billion, I wouldn't go through the big fucking pain in the ass of making movies anymore. I would just lay on a hammock, drinking Bloody Marys all afternoon, and then have my personal chef make me dinner, to repeat the process the next day. Tell me about Dracula.
If I had a complaint about it, though, it's that it is a horror film, and at no point is it ever scary. It's too big. It's too kind of bombastic and like operatic and over the top. It never takes any like moments to get quiet and creepy.
That is the longest way to say Keanu Reeves I've ever heard.
That's a whole other topic.
The bombasticity? Bombacity?
Yes.
Bombasticness? Webster?
Mr. Bombastic.
Help me out. That's what I love about it.
Oh, I do too. I'm just saying, as a horror film, it is not scary, but it's big.
No, it's a love story.
Which is not in the book. That's one of the deviations.
No,
so it's interesting to talk about. It's like, I don't know. To me, this is like the definitive adaptation of Dracula. I haven't seen all of them. There's been a million of them, but I've seen a fair amount. And this is the one that, it has some deviations, but it does follow pretty closely to the book, especially the narrative device of all the different, we get journal entries and captain's logs and all that stuff.
Oh, well, we'll get into the details, but just the overall big picture, like watching this, like, again, rewatched it. I rewatched it a couple months ago, actually. I was like, nice Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie. I'm gonna watch this on Blu-ray, because I haven't seen it in, a long time since before then, but I kept picturing like the 90s movie trailer.
Oh.
And he's loved before, but now he's back to try to find love again.
Is this an actual trailer that's like that?
No,
Oh, okay.
The trailer is quality. It has Anthony Hopkins doing the voiceover instead of trailer voice guy, but I pictured it like as a wacky romantic comedy, because that's what it is. It's a love story. It's a epic love story, and it's Dracula as a sympathetic kind of protagonist. That you're not sure if you hate him or like him, and that's the unique take on this.
Yeah.
And I think that's also kind of works the awful casting choice of Keanu Reeves.
I've seen many strange things already. Bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno.
Well, that's, I guess, one of the selling points, or one of the ways that he tried to get a studio interested in doing the movie was, we're gonna have a hot young cast, all these young, hip actors, and so that's how you end up with, Winona Ryder gave him the script, but then also Keanu Reeves, and both of them, Keanu Reeves gets a lot of shit for this movie, Winona Ryder's not much better.
Winona Ryder's great in it.
I don't buy her at all. Both of them come across like they're doing like a high school production. His bad English accent.
Oh, it's terrible. Well, Keanu had said, he's like, I just came off working on 3 movies. I was fucking tired and I didn't want to do this. Also, I think he's bad at ADR. I think I watched the movie and I'm picturing him in a booth, like looping the lines in.
Music. Those animals.
He's doing his best to make it match, and that deadens his performance. And this is a theory.
Yeah.
But Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. He's a likable actor.
Nobody dislikes Keanu Reeves, even when he gives terrible performances.
His performance in every movie is always the same. He's always Keanu Reeves. He never transcends beyond who he is.
Sure.
But, he got to where he is from his looks. I don't mean to objectify a man, but he was and is a handsome man, and that's how he got his roles. And he's not a great actor.
I have offended you with my ignorance, Count.
He's a serviceable actor.
He's great in the right roles.
Yeah, they wanted Johnny Depp in his part.
Oh,
And the studio said, we want someone handsomer.
wow.
Yeah, take that. Johnny
90s
Depp.
Johnny Depp, too. That's
I know,
surprising.
They're like, well, maybe there's other
Well, I guess
reasons.
92 was kind of before Johnny Depp really took off, right?
But yeah, he's terrible.
But the real thing they should have done is looked for good actors for the part.
Right.
Instead of going with hot young talent that we're going to put in so we can sell this movie to the kids.
Right. Well, then you have, Billy Campbell, a.k.a. the Rocketeer, a.k.a. the outrageous O'Connor.
What about drunk? Ever do that?
From alcohol. That is not possible for me, sir.
Pity.
And then you have Carrie Elways as Lord Arthur Homewood. And then Billy Campbell's playing like an American, like a Texan. And these characters are all in the book.
Yeah.
And the book, it's pretty faithful to the book in terms
I
of the
think this is
storyline.
the only adaptation to have, because there's like 3 characters. It's, what's her name? Lucy's like kind of suitors.
Yeah.
And I think every other movie adaptation condenses them down to one character, because that's what you would do for a movie, to condense everything. But this movie's like, fuck it, we're throwing it all in.
Yeah, and their performances feel like stage play.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a blundering novice.
And then you have Gary Oldman and Sir Anthony Hopkins that are just light years beyond the young cast in terms of acting, where they are really giving it 100% and they're doing quality work, and everybody else feels like they're on the stage at your local community college theater.
Yeah, she was in great pain. Then we cut off her head and drove a stake to her heart and burned it, and then she found peace.
Doctor! Please.
But that segues us into, I think what I like about the movie is that in hindsight, watching it, and this is probably why it didn't connect to a lot of audiences, it is a blend of camp, 70s exploitation, and retro 1920s throwback film.
Yeah.
Like the 1922 Nosferatu with Max Schreck. Where it's
all the in-camera effects.
in-camera effects, the iris wipes, all the old school film trickery, and then a lot of especially the orgy scene.
Oh yeah.
You get like 70s like 70s film vibes from that, and so it's like he's putting in all these. He's not trying to make a contemporary film. He's making many references and nods to cinema.
Yeah,
throughout the
not
decades.
just like the history of Dracula and previous Dracula movies, but yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's that whole scene where there's like the movie screen in the background.
That's my favorite scene.
And
in
it's
the whole film.
the whole movie is sort of just like a celebration of the history of filmmaking and all these techniques.
Yeah, there's even, I think when they introduce London and Dracula has arrived.
When he first sees Winona Ryder, they use an actual hand crank camera.
Yeah, there's an old timey.
And he said, Francis Ford Coppola said he wanted to do more of that. He seems to have a grudge against the cinematographer. There's a couple points in the commentary where he kind of is like, yeah, I wanted to do more of this, but the cinematographer just didn't want to.
Well, and the studio.
Maybe the studio too.
He wanted like no sets. He wanted very stripped down, like very bare bones locations where it was almost like a stage play.
I'm glad he didn't go that route because I love the big over-the-top sets.
The studio's like, no, you need proper sets. That's a big no. I think the proper balance of give and take happened because you don't want them. You're trying to make a commercially available, accessible film, and you don't want to go too artsy.
I made the most vulgar, entertaining, exciting, actionful, sensoramic, give them a new thrill every 5 minutes, have it everything, sex, violence, humor.
And I think that's probably what turned a lot of people off, is they're like, what's going on?
It's so stylized, When you see, I mean, the opening prologue, which is sort of a nod to Vlad the Impaler, who, of course, Dracula was based on, when we're seeing the battlefield, and it's literally just like shadow puppets, just little